everybody. This is Owen. I just wanted to talk for a little bit just to let you guys know what's been going on in my life and everybody else's life. Um, so I have directed my attention towards a channel called The Bagel as of recent time. I've been trying to get this project on the ground running for a little over a year now, and we just recently got it up and running. I just repeated myself, but that's all right. Um, it's the Bagel is essentially a channel that consists of myself and Holden, as well as a few others, but mainly just myself and Holden. Um, what it is essentially just a podcast where we just talk about random bullshit. And I've enjoyed doing it so far. It's easily probably my favorite thing that I've been doing on the internet over the past several years. Um, and yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about my personal channel and Nintendo Maniacs because obviously that's where this video is going to be going, is on my personal channel on Nintendo Maniacs. Um, so just to talk about those two channels, my personal channel, I still want to attempt to upload videos just because I still enjoy doing that. I love I love recording video games and I love commentating over them. That's been something I've been wanting to do my entire life. Took inspiration from a bunch of different content creators over the years. A couple shout outs to some in particular. We Were to Pray. Huge inspired. I was inspired hugely from them. Hugely is not a word, but I'm just gonna roll with it anyway. The Runaway Guys, Checka Conroy, Proton John, some OGs, um, and a little shout out to Munching Orange and Jethro Tex, who recently passed away. He committed suicide in January, so that's a little dark tone. But you know, I I got into uh, wanting to record video games and upload them to YouTube from those guys in particular, especially co-op games. But unfortunately, there was some complications with people in my personal life who just didn't share the same ideals as I did necessarily. Um, and I'll get a little bit more into that as the video progresses. Um, but as for myself, I still try to create videos, but my attention span is not very large. Luckily, it has been large for this project, the Bagel, and I'm very glad that's happening. We don't also a little bit more about the Bagel. We don't just do podcasts. We do little skits and shenanigans, just bullshit videos that we record and upload. I've also dipped my toe into editing a little bit, and I feel like I did a pretty good job on a couple of the videos. So check that out if you're interested. Link will be in the description. It'll be the first link. As I will also provide links for all the channels that I've talked about, such as We Are to Pray, The Runaway Guys, Jethro Text, just people who have inspired me over the years to create content for YouTube. A huge shout out to Achievement Hunter as well, because I grew up with them. Ray Narvaez Jr. is easily my favorite content creator, still going right now. He mainly is over on Twitch, but he obviously had a huge impact in Achievement Hunter, and his streams are still really fun to watch, so give him a look, twitch.tv/Ray Narvaez Jr. Yep, that's pretty much all I wanted to shout out for content creators. Now to get into a little bit of my situations with people that worked with Nintendo Maniacs over the years, a little bit of history. We started Nintendo Maniacs when we were really young, really dumb. We were all freshmen, so we obviously didn't have the greatest mindset when it came to producing videos. They weren't the highest production quality, and we are very aware of that. Still to this day, they weren't the greatest videos, and I'm not necessarily proud of them in any regards, especially because the person I was then is definitely not how I am now. And that even goes for my own videos as well, because my own videos were recorded around the same time as Nintendo Maniacs videos were recorded. And a lot of myself in my early videos is definitely not who I am today, and I just want to make that very clear. Um, I'm keeping them up strictly just because I don't really feel like taking them down just purely out of laziness, but just to let you guys know that those videos that I've recorded in the past don't reflect me or even any of the people that I've been involved with. They are definitely not the same as they were back then. Um, Talking about some of those people, shout outs to James, Grant, and Nick, kind of the main three who I played video games with back when we were freshmen. Um, it was mainly James's idea to get this project going, Nintendo Maniacs, and I was very thankful to do that. And because obviously I talked about the people who inspired me, the content creators on YouTube, and I was very interested in what James was talking about and was hoping that it would last for a long time. Unfortunately, it did not. James developed different interests over time. I'm just going to start talking about James for a little bit, and then I'll get into Grant and Nick later. But James and I didn't necessarily share the same ideals necessarily, and that's kind of why Nintendo Maniacs dipped a little bit, and ultimately ended up self-destructing, is because it was essentially James's channel. Everything, the password is the password that he used for all of his accounts, and the email was his creation, the logo was his creation, the banner was his creation. Um, the first 5 videos were his idea. Um, and then ultimately I kind of stepped in with the creative decision making because James kind of didn't really care anymore about making those types of videos, and that's completely fine. He developed different interests from just playing Nintendo games. He used to collect them. He had every Nintendo console at one point, which is very admirable. Unfortunately, I believe he only has 3 now. I believe he only has a Switch, a Wii, and a GameCube. I could be wrong. He could have an N64 instead of a GameCube. I'd have to ask him. But getting into that, I have not talked to James in a little over a year now. I'm not as close as I used to be with him. Obviously, throughout high school, we were kind of close, obviously, because we had classes together. Um, and that's why we created the channels, because in, I believe, lunch, we discussed doing something like it. Freshman year, and then we decided to do it. And then we had Grant and Nick involved as well. Nothing against James. I still love James a lot. He's one of my dearest friends from my childhood. He just developed different interests, obviously, and he's doing great right now, and I'm very proud of all the things that he's doing right now, for his own education, for his physical health, for his mental health, all that stuff. I'm very proud of what James is doing. Getting into Grant and Nick, I'll start with Nick. Nick and I have had this relationship where we started off kind of rough, way back when, but then freshman year we developed a good friendship, and we obviously talked about doing the video game stuff, and then we did it. And Nick obviously was willing to do it, do the content creating for all of freshman year, and then all of sophomore year, and all of junior year he was still even willing to do it. Senior year is when I kind of stopped talking to Nick. That has nothing to do with not liking him. I still adore Nick, but once again, is just different interests. He got a job, and he stopped, like, he kind of just, didn't really show as much interest as he used to, which was unfortunate, but, that's just how people do as they grow older, and, but that's how Nick basically did stuff. I have only talked to Nick on Discord, like 3 times in the last year, and that's not how it used to be. He used to be the only person I talked to on Discord for the longest time. For the 3 years we were a part of Nintendo Maniacs, from freshman year all the way to junior year, from 2016 to 2019 to be more specific. And then in 2020, we kind of stopped talking to each other and only talked to each other 3 times on Discord. The last time we talked to each other in person was like 2 years ago at a Smash tournament, And that was a lot of fun. I orchestrated the Smash tournament, and Nick got a lot better at Smash. Luckily, a little bit more of a challenge. Um, but unfortunately, Nick and I haven't really talked to each other that much, and I kind of want to talk to him a bit more. Same with James. I want to talk to them a bit more, but obviously not related to Nintendo Maniacs because their interests are not involved with Nintendo Maniacs, as are mine. I'm not interested in Nintendo Maniacs anymore either. But I still do want to make content, and I'm going to on my channel still. And now we get into Grant. Grant also expressed to me recently. I talk to Grant still regularly, luckily. Um, his interests have not varied from mine that much over the years, which is good. But Grant, him and I have had more of our. I've had more squabbles with Grant than I've had with Nick and James over the years. We've had more arguments, spats, if you will. Um, and that's just over personal petty bullshit. If anything, it's nothing to do with anything serious. But yeah, Grant and I still talk regularly. He's even been on the Bagel podcast twice, I believe. So he's been involved with the content I've created very recently. And yeah, I still talk to Grant regularly in person on a daily basis. Um, so there you go. That's pretty much it for Grant, I guess. Um, Talking a little bit more about other people who were involved on the Nintendo Maniacs. Connor, he's been my friend the longest. I've known him since I was 5. Um, so obviously I had to have him on the channel, but he wasn't a main 4 member because it was kind of the brainchild of myself, James, Grant, and Nick. I kind of involved Connor in myself. Unfortunately, Connor and James completely are not on speaking terms anymore. I'm not going to get into that. But I'm still close with Connor, and I still love James to death. Um, but Connor and I still talk regularly. He's just also not interested in content creating. He never was really. I kind of forced him into it. But he loved video games, so I figured it wouldn't be too big of a deal for him, and it wasn't because he abided by it. Um, and then obviously Holden's the last person who was a part of the channel. He was in like one Nintendo Maniac video, and he and I share similar interests nowadays, and that's why I created this channel with him, the Bagel, um, to just put our interests on a platform, and that's what we did. And we're gonna try and be more consistent on this channel than we were with Nintendo Maniacs. We weren't consistent at all. The production quality was not good at all. Even for the time, it was really bad, and we knew it was bad. But we just had no way of getting better, and that's kind of why we self-destructed, is because we just didn't really have good quality. And that's something I kind of want to strive to do, is have better quality in my videos. And that's something you've seen on my channel personally. I've never had really a bad quality in any of my videos, if I recall. Um, the only bad quality in my videos is the way I was back in 2016, and the way everyone was. Once again, repeating myself, does not reflect any of us nowadays. We're all very different people. We've all grown as people. We're all adults now. We weren't adults when we fucking started the channel. We were 16 at the oldest. I believe everyone else was 15, but I was 16, which is just, very young to start off. Actually, I think I might have been 15. I might have even been 15, and everyone else was 14. I don't remember. 2016, yeah, I think I was 15. So yeah, even younger. And now we're all in our 20s. Well, most of us are in our 20s anyway. I believe James turns 20 this month. And then everyone will be in their 20s. But yeah, that's just how much we've grown over the last 4 years. Obviously, being a dumb, arrogant high schooler to growing up now. We're still not perfect. None of us are perfect. But we'll never be perfect because no one's perfect. Still a lot of room to improve upon. And that's what this channel is, the Bagel. Just showing off. How much I've improved over the years. So if you want, you can check it out. Once again, link in the description for the Bagel. Holden's also improved a lot over time, so you can see how he has improved from that one video you saw on Nintendo Maniacs, or even if you watch my channel, he's been on several videos, and in those videos he's even you can see in those videos that he's grown up from that one video you've seen in Nintendo Maniacs. Um, but that's pretty much all I wanted to touch base upon. This is already over 10 minutes. Um, but yeah, Nintendo Maniacs is pretty much dead, unfortunately. Um, when I was in high school, excuse me, when I was in high school, I wanted this channel to keep going because I really wanted to be like the content creators I looked up to, but unfortunately, everybody else had different interests, and that's just how life goes. You got to get over it. Find other people with people who have similar interests that you have. Um, so like James, Nick, they obviously are still my friends. I'm still close with them. Well, not as close as I used to be, but still decent friends with the both of them. But obviously they have different interests nowadays, and that's completely fine. Um, to each their own. Um, Grant, I will try and get Grant in more videos on my channel as well as the Bagel. So be on the lookout for Grant, as well as Holden and even Connor. I always find a way to get Connor in a video just because it's Connor. I've known him my entire life, and I've always been close with Connor. Um, but I think that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. Yeah, people grow up, people change their thought processes over time. I've kind of kept the same thought process, but a little bit better. I've gone about it a better way than I have in previous years, and I'm going to continue to grow, hopefully. So we'll see what I do in the future with the Bagel, and I hope you guys are excited for it. If not, that's fine. There weren't very many people that really stuck around for Nintendo Maniacs anyway. But that's neither here nor there. For all those who did watch our Nintendo Maniacs videos, I'm sorry, first of all. Second of all, thank you if you did. It's really appreciated. Especially if you liked those videos. I don't know why you would, but if you did, that's awesome. And I hope you stick around to watch what Holden and I have been doing on this channel called The Bagel. I think it's pretty funny content. I really like the way Holden and I bounce off each other. I think we do a very great job. The guests we've had on our podcast, we have guests on every once in a while. We've had some pretty good guests on, and I'm very excited to have more guests in the future. But yeah, that's pretty much all I want to talk about. Make sure to check out the Bagel once again. It's like the 5th time I'm plugging it. It's a link in the description. This video will be uploaded to my personal channel and Nintendo Maniacs. This is going to be the final video on Nintendo Maniacs. So, sorry to everybody expecting more, but this is all you're going to get. And if I ever do decide to do a video a channel that's kind of like Nintendo Maniacs in the future, because Grant and I have talked about it, we will have Grant and I will have better quality in our new channel if we do decide to do that. Still unsure, but obviously we're not going to take a fucking phone and put it up to the TV and record it, because that's how we recorded our Nintendo Maniacs videos. We'll obviously have a better production, and we'll have microphones. We didn't have any microphones. Yeah, we'll figure that stuff out. If Grant and I ever do decide to do another gaming channel in the future, I will post another video to this channel. If not, then hey, this is all you're gonna get. But be sure to check out the Bagel. That's where all of my content will be, besides my own channel. Link to my own channel in the description, Nintendo Maniacs video. Thank you for watching, as you guys have. And I'll see you guys more on the Bagel.